Question is from Justin Dunk. Please go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for doing this. I want to start off with Kadeem Carey. He had some pointed comments at you in terms of the decline of the Stampeders. I wanted to get your side of it to balance it out.
Nah, I'm good. I mean, you guys, that's really not a story I want to start out with anyway. I'm good. Our organization's in good shape. We have already, as an organization, looked to address anywhere where we can improve. And we feel like we got an idea and a plan to do that. We traded for Flo, and I had a good conversation with Flo. And some things when guys, as long as, like you said, realistic about kind of their time and honesty is fine with me. But I'm comfortable with what we do and comfortable with our organization, and we'll leave it at that.
Right on. Appreciate that. Can you explain how this CFL blockbuster trade came together with Cam Judge going to Toronto and you guys trading for Flo?
Yeah. I do think you always get excited to bring in what you consider a game-changing player. But when you do these trades, usually you got to get rid of and trade that same type of guy. And I didn't take any enjoyment from our conversation with Cam Judge. I think he's a great player. He just had a baby, and I don't take it lightly dealing with people's lives, but it is part of what we do. It is January, and I felt like it made our team better and different, and felt like pass rush with some speed, and the type of player Flo is, there's not a lot of them like that. And we decided to make the deal. I'm a 1-for-1. Like everything else, you look at salaries, medical history, all that sort of stuff. But two really quality football players. We just went with the D-line over the linebacker.
How often do those types of deals get kicked around in the CFL behind the scenes? And then what does it take for it to come to fruition?
I've always felt CFL doesn't trade very much. What you do, obviously, when you trade, you put yourself out there for some scrutiny. A lot of people, I think, just are very comfortable. They'll just keep their guy and try to and certainly make him the best player they can, or find a younger guy that nobody knows about. For us, we felt like we needed to change to get better, but also get some different voices, get some different styles. Obviously, with the Vernon Adams trade, that was a big trade for us. We traded for PJ Walker, another trade that we felt gives our quarterback room a really good football player that I think will be a good player in the CFL. And then pass rush to me and offensive line play is probably the other area that more trades come because they're just hard to find.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you, Justin. The next question is from Frank Stanici. Please go ahead, Frank. Frank, you're muted.
Yeah, my apologies. I didn't click it. Long time no see at the line in the airport. Let me ask you, the Stampeders organization right now is going through a pretty big transition, with the coaching and some pretty interesting trades. Speak to the relationship between you and the general manager, or the general manager and you, whichever way you want to refer to it, how it's grown.
As far as like my role as that?
Your view of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a couple great mentors in Wally Bono and John Huffnagel, but Huff I've worked with in the football sense. And I feel very confident that when I speak with John that I'm getting a wealth of knowledge that not that many people can provide. I definitely use his viewpoint and take his opinion, weigh it very heavily. But essentially it still comes down to if you think you can make your team better. I use Brendan Mahoney as my assistant general manager, and Brendan does a lot of the talk with the agents. I need that because a lot of times I feel like it's just around and around you go and nothing gets done. I'm more like to close deals. If you want to do it, let's do it. If not, I don't want to waste bunch of time. This is not fantasy football. This is regular, real football. So when you make decisions, there's lots of things that go into it. I think as an organization, we need to increase our presence in the U.S. We need to get to know more and more scouts. We get to know more and more contacts. We need guys excited to come to Calgary and the CFL. And that's something we've looked into the offseason, trying to get a bigger footprint in the U.S. And we're doing that. COVID was it just changed everything. And for us, unfortunately, it didn't go our way. We need to change, and we're going to do that.
So essentially, you also have an opportunity to have a cultural shift in the organization, a bunch of new ideas. And how do you see that helping you?
In my opinion, it's not cultural shifts, because the first thing we do, and I'm going to be honest with you, we treat people as humans, and that we are very honest and fair. And the culture is actually more than fine in Calgary. In fact, I think we have good culture. But the problem is when you don't win, it's a winning business. And whether you're a good person or whether, you still are doing the right things, if you're not winning, you have to change. And that's really been the thing, is that there's other good coaches, there's other good philosophies, there's other ways to do it. Why don't we take a look and bring some of those guys in and trust that they can enhance what's already here? And as a head coach, general manager, I have to look in the mirror, and I have to approach things differently, because it wasn't working the last 2 years.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Frank. The next question is from John Hodge. Please go ahead, John.
Thanks for doing this, Dave.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about your coaching staff. Like we've talked about the kind of longevity, the consistency that's been in Calgary for so long. This is kind of the first time, at least since you got to Calgary, there's been this much changeover in one off season. How does that make you feel? I'd imagine there's probably some excitement. There might be some trepidation. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, we've actually had some more than enough turnover, but it's usually guys getting promotions. And it was never fun as a manager, you have to look a guy in the eyes and say, hey, I'm not giving you an opportunity. We're moving on. And we do it all the time with players, and it never gets any easier. And I just hadn't had to do that with coaches. And I feel like I do think the staff we put together is a good staff. In fact, I'm excited to work with these guys. Still have a lot of familiarity with a lot of them. I know they're good coaches. I do think we're going to have to blend and mix, and which voice kind of takes over in which scenario. And it's my job as a head coach to put it all together and share my vision and what I want to do, but then let the coaches coach. Don't micromanage, just let these guys start relationships with their players. And I think it'd be nice if we could gel early, but it will take a little bit of time. But, in football and any other sport, time's not always on your side when you're coming off losing seasons. So we do feel some urgency. We're excited to have a shot at this in 2025.
With your new staff in place, can you share whether or not you received an extension as well?
We've just, we've talked about this, John, in the past. That isn't something as an organization we do. We don't talk length of contracts or anything like that. So same answer I had for you, I think it was last year. We just don't talk about that.
The players you announced, but coaches and personnel people is not something you'd consider discussing.
What we want to focus on, like you say, any of the guys, is we're in the winning business now. So all of us know we got to win now.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, John. The next question is from Jeff Hamilton. Please go ahead, Jeff. Jeff, you're muted.
Technology.
There we go. Better?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Dave, just to follow up on John's question, what was the message to you then after the end of the season? And do you think you can get away, if you will, with another year like you've had the last two?
I don't like that term, get away, but you guys feel however you want to frame it is the truth. You understand the message was we need some change. I feel, you know, I'm excited to be that guy to try to get the plan initiated and follow through with what I think can turn this around. So for me, yeah, I don't really look at it as it is a stressful job, but just take control with what you can control and try to put everything you got into it and kind of let the chips fall where they may. So yeah, we need to change. We need to change in all areas of our organization. Um, Change isn't always necessarily going to improve you. It does create a little bit of buzz and excitement, but I think we got to find ways to be better and get more W's on the board. So that's really all it is. It's just find a different fit, a different voice. Let's do things. Let's find out what other people are doing that are successful in our league and as well as other areas. Let's try to mimic that. Let's try to build on that, be better at that, and still, like you said, the backbone of what we are as an organization is we're a team that's going to work hard. We treat everybody as one. We're all together in this. We're going to either sink or swim as a group, as a team, and bring in quality people. So that's really the backbone of what we are as the Calgary Stampeders.
No, just the last one from me. Just on that idea of culture, you mentioned you were good with the culture, the change in staff. Didn't necessarily have to do with having to shift and change that. That doesn't stop the fact that you had multiple players come out, question the culture, question the locker room, question the relationship between the veteran guys and the younger guys. That was well documented. Some of your leaders came out and said that. I mean, we can go through that, but those messages were said about the locker room, the division within the locker room. So I guess
there wasn't division. It's just when you lose, everybody there's going to be conflict.
So there was no conflict between the younger guys and the older guys in your locker room. Is that what like?
My opinion, yeah. My opinion is there was obviously times when certainly disagreements happen. But you know what? When it's not working, and any asset that's important in your life, emotions are going to be there. I don't think there's division. No, I don't. So I think that let's all look in the mirror on it, though, and be better ourselves. And I want passionate people, though. If you don't care, then I don't want you around.
That's fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Next question is from Morley Scott. Please go ahead, Morley.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. You know Mark Killam probably better than or as well as anybody else does. Can you talk about his readiness for the next step in his career and the role he has now in Edmonton?
Listen, I don't know why it happened like it did, that Mark's been up for many, many head coaching jobs and he wasn't chosen. And then, when I feel like, maybe we need to change and find a different voice, and he's on the market, free agent, then he gets his job. But I'm really proud of him, happy. He's done all the work. He does a great job. But we're going to go to battle against each other. And I knew he'd have a job, but I'm very happy that he's been pushing hard for this. There's only 9 of us. It's tough to get, and you can look back to it's some years you're hot, some years you're not. Some years you're the top candidate. All of a sudden you fall off and you can't get an interview. Sure, it frustrates everybody, but both with Brent, all the coaches, but the coordinators that I've been with for so long, I'm glad they found a good fit, and now we'll have to go to battle against each other.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Morley. Next question is from Todd Seloff. Please go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good.
Maybe tell me a little bit about Flo and getting him back and what skill set he brings to the team. And obviously he was somebody you probably missed over the last few years.
Yeah, definitely he's different. Okay, first time he's from Dartmouth. Not that many super smart guys willing to beat their head up and go after it, and I just enjoy watching him play. Like I said, he's built different than a lot of people. I mean, honestly, twitchy, strong, relentless motor, violent. super smart, great person. Yeah, we did miss him, and we weren't. I'm actually very surprised he was on the trade block. I thought every time he's played, he's had a few injuries, but when he plays, he's one of the best, if not the best. So certainly was big for us to bring him back.
You got to give up something to get something, though, right? And I imagine Cam Judge is not somebody that you part with willingly.
I mean, it's there's history in there too. A Canadian for an American is sometimes works, sometimes it's not. I think Toronto did the Ceresna Curly Gittins deal, worked out for them. Probably both teams. Both teams are going to get really good football players. It's just where do you have them and where do they slot into your team? But yeah, both teams are going to get really good football players. And you don't really know if it's a successful trade until you see the results. But you did your work. You put it out there. You definitely put it out there, and you see what the results will be.
You made some big moves already to start this off season. Do you feel like this is just the first of many? Bringing Vernon in, bringing Flo in, getting Bagleton re-upped. Do you feel like this is just the first of many? How do you feel about where you are right now?
Well, so for us, one of the couple of huge pieces that we got signed back were Jalen Philpott and then Zach Williams. We want to. Sometimes we get frustrated we feel like we lose some of our young talent, and there still is a hierarchy or structure on your team. So you're not going to overpay a guy on potential. If another veteran, you're not going to push him over that. But at this point with our team, both Jalen and Zach, we drafted them. They're good players. They've got more ceiling. They're going to get better. Felt like that was imperative that we got both of those guys back, and we did. Then we also, the rest of it to me, the quarterback was something that we just wanted to change, and we feel like we did a good job there. We should have more change as well. It's kind of one of these in free agency where you just some of the guys you're very interested in just keep getting re-signed or off the board, and you're not quite sure. We're trying to be. We know we have good players on our team too. Maybe it's a different way of style, different coach, different scheme can then get the production that we want out of it. So. It's all going to come to a head here in the next month. Exciting times for us. General manager is you do get your fingerprint on the team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. And I think it's going to be our final question from JC Abbott. Please go ahead, JC.
Hey, Dave. When it comes to adding Flo back to the team, he was a guy this offseason who implied publicly in some comments that Calgary hadn't been an organization that made the blockbuster move in the past. Once you made that move to bring him in, is that something you discussed with him or laughed about?
I didn't laugh, but yeah, I did talk to him about it. And he kind of was like, yeah, Coach, said what I said. It was the truth. He didn't trash on the organization and say that we aren't good people and that we're not a winning club. He just said in the past we hadn't had to make that splash. And hey, Flo's looking forward to coming back. I mean, I'd like him to talk, but I know it because I've spoke with him. He also isn't. He's not. He wants to kind of be the guy and be the reason maybe we can get back to one of those winning ways. I mean, he's got great leadership. He is a great person. He works extremely hard. He's a guy, I think, that has to be a central voice in our room. So, no, I think it's just like you said, if people just, it's not like we're trying to jump on anyone or be honest with things. We do have a difference of opinion, at least I do, with some comments, but for the most part, as an organization, we need to hear where we need to be better, and we're trying to address it, and we think we're doing some good things.
Are there other comments like those that particularly have rankled you and that you think you need to address specifically going forward to improve your perception?
Listen, and then here's the thing, for the most part, players that leave, not always the guys that you necessarily are going to say a lot of positive things about how things go. I think the league knows, the people that work in the league, and the players that are in this league know what we stand for. I'm not worried about it to try to get into any sort of a back and forth, because I know what we are as well. Calgary, though, we are in a need of a little bit of a shot in the arm. We need some juice. We need some good things to happen for us. The whole city as a whole, I think maybe we got into those mode where expect winning ways, and when it doesn't happen, it definitely is a little bit of an eye opener, and can bring excitement. So I think we've done some good things. Hopefully we can continue to do that.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thanks.